What's happening?
Tell him exactly what's happening.
Mark 7 or Mark 8 Golf?
Which is worse? I'll tell you, it's the Mark 8 Golf. Find out why you should buy a Mark 7, not a Mark 8.
Behave yourself. What I was going to say was it's fortunate at the minute we both own one, so let's get into this video and let's see which is the better one.
The Mark 7. So, first thing on the list, infotainment. Good God Almighty. In my Mark 7, I've got actual dials for the speed, and I've got a little infotainment thing for the stereo, Bluetooth, all this sort of thing. This thing, however, nightmare. It's got no real dials in it. It's got this glitchy, software-driven infotainment thing up on screen at the minute. It's an absolute nightmare. Stick with, tried and tested.
Infotainment. I call it technology is what I call it. I call it advances over this to where this is. Every single car these days comes with a virtual cockpit. You're losing the dials, you've got all the lovely touchscreen stuff. However, this has got a few niggly issues, probably needs a couple of software updates. Me, I'd stick with the old one, me.
So the next thing is the beautiful red strip on the front denoting GTI. As you can see on the Mark 7, very subtle here and goes through the light, beautiful, stops where the light ends. This thing, however, ugly. Look at this, right? It's gone on top of the light instead of underneath it, rubbish to begin with, and then it comes round the side. It's like Amy Winehouse with her little swanny flick things. What's that all about? Car don't need wings, it's a GTI, not a 747.
Right, so on the flip side, yeah, that red grille, I'm really not against it being on top. It's a generation up. Of course, they're going to have to change things. Otherwise, they keep rolling out with a Mark 7, 7.5. You know what I'm saying? Don't forget, you've got that nice little light strip under there, which I was totally against at the beginning, but I've learned to love over time. As we come along, that red strip complements that IQ lighting very, very well. But not just that, it goes along the door to where the red GTI badge is and the lovely lines of the side of that car. I ain't against it.
And on the flip side of that, seeing as he's mentioned it, this light up strip on the front, I hate it. I think it looks absolutely awful. Who's with me? Leave it in the comments. Light strip yes or light strip no?
Over time, yeah, that you will learn to love it. So I tell you what, if you've commented no right now, yeah, come back in 6 months' time when you've seen more of these, and I guarantee you'll change your opinion on it. And don't forget, it gives you a bit of brand sort of, you know, levels, because it only comes on GTI and above. Boosh.
I don't know. Bit windy today, not that you've noticed, isn't it? Anyway, next up on the list, fog lamps. On the Mark 7, you get these three lights, one on top of another. It's quite subtle, it's nice, it illuminates the road. On the Mark 8, however, it's 10 lights on the front of it. 5 on one side, 5 on the other. Do you need 10 fog lamps on the front of a car? No, you don't. 10
fog lamps. And what? You know what I'm saying? To me, jet fighter vibes. Tom Cruise, Top Gun, that sort of vibe, you know what I'm saying? An Apache helicopter coming in, guns everywhere, that's what that thing looks like. In all fairness, without those fog lights, it kind of just blends in. So for the last 6-7 months, I've been driving around with those fogs on every day. I know, one of those people. I reckon it helps the look of the car anyway.
Doors. Let me talk to you about doors. Now, from the start, Golf's had 3 doors for the GTI version. Later in life, yes, 5 doors did become available, but for me, a Golf looks better with 3 doors. They're a bigger door, they look nice, they suit the profile of the car. These newer cars, 5 doors, if you want a 5-door Golf, go and get a 1.4 TSI, do you know what I'm saying? That ain't a GTI.
Doors. Yes, I have more doors. Now, I completely agree, a GTI should be 3-door, or at least offer the option to have a 3-door, not like the Mark 8 that only comes in a 5-door. Granted, practicality side is there. Want to throw stuff in, you've got kids you need to put in it, etc. Practical, yes. Sporty-ish option would be better.
Engine sound. Now, both a Mark 7 and a Mark 8 have got this configuration, one each side at the back, right? Both of them, unfortunately, come with the sound actor, which is this horrible thing which pumps in fake sound. I've unplugged mine. I unplugged it years and years and years ago. He hasn't unplugged his yet, so I can't have a go at him for that. But what I will say is when mine was plugged in, it did what it was meant to do, just gave a horrible noise in the car. His, especially in the morning, it's got this crackle, like a vibrating plasticky sound. I thought this was VW, not Nissan. What's happening?
I agree with everything Dan just said. However, let's rev them both up from the outside and let's see what they sound like.
Buttons. Nah, not chocolate buttons, and not fairy tale Cinderella stuff either. Actual buttons in the car. Now, a Mark 7 is the last of the Golfs that actually has physical buttons in it. In this, they're this touch capacitive thing with like haptic feedback to show you that you've touched them. Now, in the Mark 7, without looking, I can press things and I know what I'm doing. In this, it's a bit more difficult, and I think even he'd agree with that. Buttons. Come on now, when it car manufacturers, you all do the same thing. You all try and go as flushed and clean as you can, but then next generation or two comes along, buttons are back in it. Why do you even bother? Put buttons back in new cars, boys.
Buttons. There's only one button that you need, and that's a heated steering wheel. And on a day like today, we got it. Well, haptic button anyway, we'll just roll with that. Don't get me wrong, it's very driver focused, the way everything is set out. Virtual cockpit, the way the fans are on there. You know, it kind of works. At the start, it was like getting into something. Like anything, it was new. I didn't quite understand it. Over time, I've learned that you can preset all the shortcuts that you need. Buttons are more convenient. This, however, a bit more futuristic. Let's roll with that. However, I kind of prefer buttons myself.
Penny pinching. This is the first time I'm going to mention penny pinching, but it won't be the last, certainly. Still windy, by the way. Now, the Mark 7 actually came with engine covers with a VW logo on them. Yes, some of the other brands, if you peeled it back on the Seat or the Skoda, there was a VW underneath, but at least it had them to begin with. The Mark 8 doesn't even have engine covers on it. In some markets, they had this foam thing which was to reduce sound, but it wasn't even branded. It was ugly. It was pointless. This, though, penny pinching. Come on, VW. You used to be a benchmark in this game. Above all else, it's a Golf. That's sliding, isn't it? Psh.
Penny pinching? Yes, I agree. In the 6 months of owning this car, I opened the bonnet once, the first time, and I was appalled is the word I want to say. I've had German cars here for many, many years. Over a decade, a lot of them. And this is the first one I've ever had without an engine cover, which blows my mind. But more so than that, what upset me more than anything, Mark 7, gas strut, as it should be. This was like going back to a 90s Corsa B with that. That is appalling.
You gotta love a bit of psh. Seats. Let's talk about seats. Now, the GTI cloth, that plaid trim, which is world known everywhere, everyone knows it, associates it with these cars. Can't say anything about mine because I spec'd the leather, so I didn't get it. But on all previous models, it was a vibrant, brighter colour. In the Mark 8, it's like grey, it's like dowdy, it's like, oh, what's this? Golf, man! Used to be a benchmark. Be proud of yourself. Also, while I'm on that subject, and the leather seats doesn't change this because even the cloth seats in the Mark 7 came with it, under seat storage in the front. Both front seats have a lovely catch-based under seat storage, a little bit of carpeting in it. It's lovely. Mark 8, nothing. Dust and dirt.
Okay, so the seat pattern that we all know and love that a GTI is renowned for is a little bit greyer in this car. It is a little bit duller in this car, but it's there, and there's a lot of other symbols to make you know that you're still driving a Golf. Yes, it's auto, we don't have a gear stick. The little dash is all done in little golf ball style, you know what I'm saying? The Golf thing is still there, however, it works. Would it be nice to be brighter? Yes. Did I notice it properly? No. Am I against it? Who knows?
Boots. Let's talk about boots. Inside the Mark 8 Golf boot, what have you got? You've got a big open space, that's all you've got. You've also got an unbranded, generic if you will, little repair kit with a compressor, toe up, this sort of thing in it. Mark 7 is a full-size spare wheel in there. There's a jack, there's all sorts of business in there, in a lovely form housing, right? I didn't spec that and I didn't pay for that. That was standard with this car. Penny pinching. Golf, you used to be the benchmark. What are you doing? Disappointed. Disappointed.
Yes, it doesn't come with a spare tyre. Yes, I'm weight saving. Yes, I've got extra storage, you know what I'm saying? However, I don't think it's just Golf. I think all car manufacturers are losing that biscuit, that spare wheel, don't really need them, and in the grand scheme of things, how often do you have a puncture? Not very.
That's what he says, but if you're at the side of the road with a puncture, would you rather have a wheel you can actually put on the car and keep going, or would you rather have a compressor kit, maybe a can of that crap? Nah, come on.
Flip side of this then, how many people actually know how to change a tyre? You know, a lot of people will sit there and phone the RAC or the AA or other breakdown services are available.
True.
Do you know what I'm saying? I don't think it's a bad thing.
I do, but we'll agree to disagree. He's wrong. So those are our views on a Mark 7 and Mark 8 Golf GTI. That's all they are though, they're our views. You've also got views, drop them in the comments if you like, but I feel for the money you can save yourself a good $1 because it's like an R33, R34 Skyline. Under the surface, this is pretty much this car with just rubbish plastic bits put on top of it. Save yourself the money, get a proper Golf GTI, go out and buy a Mark 7.
Views? Yeah, that's right, Viking views, that's who we are, know what I'm saying? But I tell you what, yeah, I haven't tried to be harsh with the Mark 8. This is my car, 6-7 months that I've owned it, and I've got the real first-hand experience. That's why we've waited to film these videos, if you know what I'm saying. There's a lot of changes, but like everything, sometimes it's good to move with the times, yeah? Mark 7 is awesome. If it could go on forever, it would. But you've got to have that little update, you've got to have that little bit of a change, a little bit of a refresh, a little bit of a modern look to keep with other cars, other manufacturers, the way things are going. On a personal preference, I've got so much time for the Mark 7. I absolutely love this car. The only reason why I bought this car was because of that car, because I spend a lot of time in it. This is so much fun to drive. It's great. Yes, the sounding is a bit pumped in. Yes, all that technology goes a little bit wrong, which does get a bit frustrating. But for a day-to-day, this car's done what it needs to do. GTI badge, it wears it proudly. I'm happy with it. However, if it came down to both of them, I'd have this and I'd probably save 15, 20 grand. True story.
Do you know what? I think that's probably the most sensible video we've done in a very long time.
It's been a while, definitely.
Apart from all the wind and how we chose to film it and everything, but other than that, yeah. But there's a lot more golf content coming soon,
definitely,
including a 9 or 10 year review on my car, because I have owned it from new.
Yeah.
And a lot of other stuff which is already on the channel. Go and have a look. There's some playlists, isn't it?
Damn straight, yeah, definitely. But I tell you what, I think we've done it good. And as you said, this is our opinion. Everyone is different. If you want to change our opinions, drop it in the comments below and we'll reassess the situation.
But there we go. I think we're done for today. So until next time, thank you for watching and boosh.